So that's the basis of social ecology, and where it ties in the Green Party here is that from those movements we were talking about after World War II, we saw ecologically minded socialists get together with labor movements and things like that to try to talk about creating these new independent movements, and not just in the U.S. but globally, in order to deal with environment as well as capitalism, because now capitalism is growing as a global system we have to deal with. And so that started in the 1970s. You saw some early ecological folks running for office. And I think New Zealand, Australia, I think was the first place that started where they identified as Greens running on this kind of social and environmental platform. But in particular, the Germans, there was a German Green Party that formed, and they won a bunch of national offices in 1980. And that was really exciting. And that really kicked off forming Green Parties in many countries around the world, including in the U.S. There started to be discussion of how can we do that here in the U.S.? How can we pull together all these old movements away from the Democratic Party into our own independent thing, which I guess is now a Green Party, and kind of get similar success? So that discussion brought together a bunch of different movements and organizations, and Murray Bookchin's organization, the Institute for Social Ecology, even hosted the conference on discussing what a green movement and a Green Party would look like in 1984. Bookchin himself, with Howie Hawkins, who actually studied social ecology with Bookchin back then, argued that this new movement should be based in social ecology ideas. But of course, there were people from many organizations that had different perspectives on this. So it wasn't the only perspective, but it was a really big, important influence. And that led, of course, to the Green Party eventually being founded as this multi-tendency party, a bunch of different organizations, movements coming together with influences from civil rights, feminism, environmentalism, and the peace movements, and influenced, of course, a lot by social ecology. The first formal party, with the paperwork signed and all, was formed in 1991, and it eventually kind of spun off into today's Green Party of the United States in 2000. So that's where that came from. So the Green Party has always kind of had this very eco-socialist, social ecology sort of streak within it through that whole movement, and it was reaffirmed in 2016, where the National Committee, the big decision-maker body of the Green Party, reaffirmed in 2016, voted and approved a resolution saying that we are an eco-socialist party, and that's where our principles are, and that's what we're organizing for.